There are two fundamental reasons why people sleep. First, to recharge their spiritual energy. And second, the most important, is the soul's incessant desire to meet the beloved, that is God. I recommend learning to master relaxation, release tension, and create neuron connections through practice. Baraka is an ability to transmit spiritual energy, and the initiation of a disciple by a master, enabling the disciple to attain the master's level.
How can I trigger lucid dreaming? I remain conscious throughout the day, but as I fall asleep, my mind becomes active. How can I sustain consciousness?
In a way, striving for this may feel like a form of struggle. On the one hand, you're practicing and trying to control this activity, but on the other, at night it all repeats itself. Keep in mind that while you rest at night, there are periods when absolutely nothing is happening. Dreams that may often seem nonsensical mental chaos are an interplay of disjointed mental processes, events, and words that may appear strange and illogical. Occasionally, you may see something in a dream that, upon waking, seems utterly unrealistic, yet it felt perfectly normal within the dream itself. This is not uncommon. This occurs when you're transitioning out of a deeply restful state. You aren't fully awake yet, but your brain begins to partially engage. The astral brain is also active. It is linked to the physical one. During this transition, before you are fully awake, you might see dreams. Becoming aware of this chaos while you are experiencing them, or after that. There is always a period of time during the night, sometimes lasting an hour, sometimes spanning half the night, when nothing occurs. In this period, you enter a profoundly spiritual state known as turiya. This is dreamless sleep, in which a purely spiritual experience takes place. In an ordinary state of consciousness, this connection is not yet developed, which is why you remain unaware of the experience. The practices of yoga and meditation are designed to develop this connection, enabling you to consciously access this deep state. This is samadhi. You experience it every night. It is this deep experience that recharges you completely. During this period, the soul traverses all the chakra planes, reaches the ajna chakra, and enters the realm of the spirit. There it encounters its beloved, the spirit. The soul is drawn to the spirit. I call this connection the alchemical wedding, or date. It receives impressions. During this period, the soul is bathed in the divine love. Yet by karmic necessity, it is compelled to return to the habitual level of consciousness. For the soul, this is not really natural. Rather, it's natural for the personality. The personality at times suppresses soulful states, qualities of the soul, or even the soul itself. That's the challenge. This is why people sleep. This is why they dream. As they descend back into the Muladhara, Svadhisthana, or Manipura chakra, doesn't matter. They begin to experience what we call dreams, or informational impressions, tied to the basic material world. This is the point where dreaming begins. When you ascend into higher planes, reaching a profound state, you enter a purely spiritual dimension. There, you don't see anything because the connection is not yet developed. Do you understand what I mean? There are two fundamental reasons why people sleep. First, to recharge their spiritual energy. And second, the most important, is the soul's incessant desire to meet the beloved, that is God, the Spirit. This is a key point to understand. When you allow yourself to completely relax, you can immediately transition directly into that state. Practices such as Kriya-nidra, or more broadly Kriya Yoga, can help you achieve this. Kriya-nidra is a branch of Kriya Yoga that promotes deep relaxation without the strain of maintaining an upright posture. You lie down and relax, but on the other hand, you often end up drifting off completely. Experience shows that most people transition into Kriya-nidra almost instantly. Everyone around can hear it. It happens. But this is just the initial stage. Over time, as you practice, you will develop greater awareness and learn to take control of these processes. At this stage, yogic siddhis come into play. I recommend learning to master relaxation, release tension, and create new neuron connections through practice that will work for you, the 42 Kriyas. This practice will help you transform your sleep and calm the mental chaos you may currently experience. Furthermore, as you progress, you will eventually ascend to higher centers of consciousness. Your dreams will become vivid, fascinating, and divinely orchestrated. You might not even want to leave these dreams. I've experienced this many times myself, immersed in elevated astral states. I would think, soon I'll wake up and have to leave this realm. Do I really have to? Is there a way to extend this experience? Yet the time inevitably comes to return.
No second episode?
An annoying alarm clock breaks the spell.
What if I don't have any dreams?
If you don't dream, that's perfectly fine. It means you dive deeply into the mental plane rather than the astral plane, where dreams typically occur. Your experience is deeper. You close your eyes and reopen them. Yes, it's possible. Time seems to pass quickly. That's good. This is how you recover. Your soul is attending to its matters while you simply rest. Not you, but your body.
Should I practice every evening before sleep?
Ideally, yes. Additionally, in the morning, don't jump out of bed immediately. If you can spare a moment, practice Kriya-nidra. This state of being neither fully awake nor fully asleep is optimal for such practices. Maybe you practice affirmations such as, I feel free. I feel joyful. Or, I am ready to express everything I couldn't throughout my life. I can do it now. If you practice affirmations linked to a particular sphere of life, to make them truly effective, you need to enter a state where your brain frequencies shift. In your usual state of consciousness, affirmations, even if continuously repeated, might not have the same impact as when repeated on the cusp of sleep, when your brain works at different frequencies. In this way, you can access your subconscious mind. It's the easiest way to do it. One method is to use headphones to listen to pre-recorded affirmations as you drift off to sleep. As you sleep, the affirmation will find its way in. In deep states, the brain continues to work while the mind steps aside, enabling access to the subconscious. This is how you can rewrite or record something new into your mind. In the morning, it's highly advisable to replay the same affirmations to bridge the gap between your subconscious and conscious minds. This is very important. For example, you can allow your affirmations to play through the night, or start the recording when you wake up, still in a drowsy state. In the morning, as you wake up, you can continue if we're talking about affirmations. But if it's about Kriya-nidra, this technique often includes verbal guidance paired with affirmations. This is similar to the seated energization practice, except it involves working on different aspects and is performed in another posture. Upon waking, instead of immediately jumping out of bed or starting to think about social responsibilities, which triggers mental activity and fully wakes you up, you can stay in that borderline state and use this time for guided or self-led practice. Sometimes your consciousness may slow down to the point where it feels like you're drifting off again. You might feel the need to check something, but the experience is very vague. It's okay, this works too. After a while, you may notice yourself being awake while your body remains asleep. If I am not mistaken, we have a Kriya-nidra course where I guide participants and they perform the practice, much like now, sitting in an energization posture. In Kriya-nidra, I focus on techniques used for internal processes, like working with energy centers, achieving relaxation, and issuing commands. For example, I suggest commanding your arm or leg to relax, which helps facilitate the transition into the desired state.
How is it advisable to practice? Listening to your recordings for guidance or in silence?
Using recordings for guidance is perfectly fine if you do not fully understand the concept so far. For instance, during seated energization, if you are unsure of what to do or keep recalling every next step before proceeding, recordings can be helpful. It's advisable to rely on recordings until you develop a deep understanding of the concept and can practice with full awareness, seamlessly transitioning through each step. After some time, the recordings will become unnecessary. It's important not to become dependent on the guidance. The goal is to immerse yourself in the practice on your own. After all, the phrases have been carefully curated. They are functional. You perceive the vibrations of the voice, along with a certain belief in the process. And the personal experience is also conveyed through those vibrations and sounds. So yes, initially, recordings can be a powerful aid, but I wouldn't want you to become dependent on them. You get it? I also like it when you are Swami. But you cannot be Swami in this body. You are Swamini. However, when you do reach the state of Swami, it will be very pleasing because I will know you have progressed even further. Of course, you can use recordings if they help you and don't cause distractions or bad moods. But again, I encourage you to practice independently as well, because you can't be dependent on recordings. You can use recordings only at the initial stages. Gradually transition to practicing in peace and silence without them. No one should speak when you are talking to God, especially the speaker. There should be no intermediaries between you and God, whoever they may be. You get it? For now, if it contributes to your practice, enabling you to grasp the concept and immerse in the idea, this is a good approach.
Thank you very much for the magical music.
The thanks should not go to me alone. Sergey, the team, and other musicians also contributed immensely. You're probably referring to the mysticism of the sound concert. It wasn't just me, a whole team worked on it. Your gratitude is deeply appreciated. The real reward, however, is not the recognition itself, but knowing that the music brought some benefit to you. Currently, as the team knows, I've been reviving compositions recorded 23 years ago on horse and buggy instruments, or rather just one such instrument. If all goes well, I hope to finish the mastering and restore these works. It's a miracle these floppy disks, which usually demagnetize within 3 to 5 years, have lasted for 23 years. They are still functional. Unbelievable. The guy who bought those floppy disks, do you remember those old floppy disks? Typically they demagnetize in 3 to 5 years, but somehow these have survived. There are two particular compositions that, since we've touched on this topic, let me share. These compositions tremendously elevate frequencies and affect structures, including chakra activity. I believe they can help you balance your frequencies during challenging times and even serve as a source of inspiration. From the perspective of musical artistry, they may not seem very beautiful. The sounds are old, but they carry energy and my mental power. Khadija knows how I spent nights working on them, rattling the keys away with my headphones on. They were composed in a specific state. They were composed for specific states. This is a kind of announcement. It's not about showing off. They are genuinely functional tools that have taken the form of music. They are matrices of sound and melody. It's enough to listen to them once to sense that, roughly speaking, all viruses perish. God willing, I'll eventually share them with you. One composition is called Baraka, and the other one is called Ushing. Baraka is a Sufi term. This composition reflects the Sufi tradition. You'll feel it. Baraka is an ability to transmit spiritual energy and the initiation of a disciple by a master, enabling the disciple to attain the master's level. This is an internal process. On a subtle plane, it can create transformations within you, with these frequencies increasing the activity of your soul. All the instruments in the composition are arranged in a sacred manner, with sound frequencies and generators aligned according to specific laws. Sacred numbers and sounds. Wuxing conveys a Chinese theme. Wuxing is a philosophical concept signifying the 5 basic elements, Wuxing. It reflects the process of formation of the elements that emerged from prana, the life force and the universal Shishen energy, which transforms into elemental processes within our body. Of course, I would love to bring together more people as the performance of mantras, modern, vibrant, and even somewhat unconventional in their arrangement, becomes a kind of initiation in itself. It's much like a large seminar, but it happens through the music. Often the transmission of this energy is much more powerful and intense. People feel it. They leave transformed.